What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode review for Vinland Saga Season 2. This is episode 13, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
hmm And of course, we're treated to a brand new opening called Paradox by, what was it, Survive Said the Prophet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was a pretty decent opening and uh, pretty much showcasing the different vibes compared to the slow pacing that we got from the last core.
Yeah, I would say, like, I really like this opening. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say which one I prefer because River was really good, but it's like I said before we started recording, they give off, like, completely different vibes. And mostly because, like, in the beginning of the season, as we know, it was mostly focused on Thorfinn's character and him trying to get him trying to deal with what he's done, and then now that we're kind of starting a new, I guess you would say, sort of like a new story arc, it's sort of reflecting that, and it's more like high energy, whereas River was more like somber and it kind of had a different tone. This one is just, it's more, I would say it's more like, well, of course, the first opening of the first season, which was also done by Survive Said the Prophet, where it was more high energy and more about like the action. And it seems like that's kind of going to be where the second half of this season is going to lean into.
Yeah, considering what the last two episodes what was pretty much building up to with Canute and his
Yeah.
army about to invade Kettle's farm, I would say
Well, not
pretty soon.
well,
I
not
mean,
only that, but we also have the introduction of this new character who is also a new potential threat aside from just Canute, which is this runaway slave.
Yeah, his name is Gardar.
Yeah.
So the episode introduces us to him just immediately, burning down his house, and then pretty much threatening to kill him. But of course, his master just begs him not to kill him and offers him to be his slave instead. But of course, Gardar ends up killing him anyway. But instead, he leaves his wife and child alive. Uh, of course, he still burns down the house anyway.
Yeah, and of course he leaves kind of vaguely saying I'm coming for her or something like that. So we don't, of course we don't know yet like what exactly he's after, but we know he's after something.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, this episode is of course mostly focused on Einar, Thorfinn, and Arnheid. Pretty much they're just bonding and interacting with each other, and then we also get to see Snake and what was that? I keep forgetting his name. The old
Oh,
guy.
Spherical.
Spherical, yeah. Yeah, so like I said, Spherical is, of course, he's as of right now, he's physically incapable to do anything else right now. Like you can clearly see he can't even pour a cup of water for himself, so he has to rely on Arnheid, who came over to help him out. Basically, just to cook food for him and the others. While of course like she's over there, and of course we it gets into some comedic moments that Spherical is a bit too
Yeah.
prideful of wanting to be fed by her,
Give me a
but of
second.
course like he has no choice when he realizes that
seems like it's
he can't physically eat anything by himself. So yeah, it was a good funny moment of all the characters bonding with each other. But of course, one of the major things that happens in the background is, of course, uh, the thing happening with Gardar. So we all see one scene in which Snake's men go out to try to hunt him down. But of course, a couple of the guys that were following, I think, what was it, Fox, end up causing an argument and like about how they want to capture Gardar, and then of course Gardar overhears this and then apparently kills one of them and steals their horse.
Yeah. They're all just being idiots, just say, just loudly talking, even after Fox was just like, I don't even know how many times, like, telling them to be quiet, and then they just end up getting attacked by Gardar. Um, so yeah, I feel like it's like, yeah, they kind of deserve that. They're kind of stupid for doing that. They could have gotten the drop on him because he was. At first, I was thinking like, because it's been a while since I read the manga, but I was like thinking like, oh, maybe this is kind of some kind of a trap, because like he's just kind of sitting against a tree. I was thinking maybe it was a trap he laid for them, but they could have. I guess they could have gotten the drop on him if they weren't if they didn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know what was going over their heads
Yeah.
if, just causing an argument, just like literally just an earshot from that guy. But yeah, so we go back to, everyone else back at the farm, basically just, them doing their normal chores and tasks. But we also see Thorfinn eavesdropping, I guess on Snake, reading several Bible verses to Circle. I guess showing some kind of interest in, I guess, learning some Christianity of sorts. I'm not really sure on that.
I suppose so, because Einar says that Thorfinn isn't really a Christian. But I guess it's probably because he's Norse and they don't really, that's not really their religion. But I guess it's just him showing interest in the Christianity's teachings, possibly because it reflects the kind of person that he wants to be.
Yeah. But of course, the end of the episode shows Gardar fleeing away with the horse that he stole, until what was it? Arnheid recognizes him and calls him out, and of course, Gardar stops in his tracks and finds Arnheid, who's of course his wife, and that's pretty much where the episode ends from there.
Yeah, kind of a pretty big reveal, considering, well, I mean, we didn't really know too much about Arnheid. And we especially didn't know that she, I guess, was married at one point, or I guess she technically still is married, but they were just separated because because they both somehow became slaves.
Yeah, and of course, kind of complicates things with Einar too, because he, sort of did have some feelings for Arnheid. Of course, Thorfinn does kind of point that out, whether or not if Einar really loves her or not. But of course, Einar doesn't really, doesn't really confirm whether or not he does. But he basically just wants to work to gain her freedom. But with like Arneid's husband getting into the mix, that kind of complicates things even further. And that's before Canute is arriving with his army pretty soon.
Yeah, I feel like this situation would definitely throw things into disarray and would make things even worse when Canute eventually invades, because Kettle's forces are mostly going to be like caught up, trying to deal with this with the escaped slave, and that's going to probably make it easier for Canute to invade and just take over, because of the confusion that's already happening.
Yeah, and of course I think Kettle, Thorgil, and Olmar are gonna make it back first. And of course there's also Leif that's also looking to get Thorfinn back and gain his freedom first.
Yeah. I thought it was a great episode. We also do get a different ending. Visually, I would say this, it's not as interesting as the first one. They kind of reuse some animation, it seems, or some scenes that we've seen already. Song's okay. I don't know. It's hard to, I would say, I guess I would say I prefer Without Love of the first song, and I felt like it was a lot stronger, because of the visuals and the music accompanying it. This one's just kind of, it's okay, but it's not, I just feel like it's not as, I don't know, it's not, to me, it's not as good as the first ending was. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, the episode though was, I thought it was pretty good. It's more of a, I guess you would say more of a setup episode, because we're now setting up this other threat along with Canute coming to invade Kettle's farm, the threat of this runaway slave, and also the fact that it's also Arnheid's husband, which further, of course, like you said, further complicates things for Einar. Um, so yeah, I thought it was a pretty good episode, but I don't really have too much else to say about it. I don't know if you have anything else to say.
I mean, yeah. Honestly, it did go by pretty quickly for me,
Yeah.
and I was hoping for more stuff with Kettle and the others, but of course, I guess it makes sense to go back to Thorfinn and the rest of the cast in the farm for now because we haven't really seen much of them ever since we transitioned into the whole uh, Kettle business meeting with Canute.
Yeah, it was good to get back to the main, Thorfinn being the main character and Einar, um, and just to kind of see some more of how Thorfinn has, I guess how he's changed as a character as well. Um,
Yeah. Uh,
but yeah, so
Yeah, it is interesting to see Thorfinn develop a little bit more and taking some interest in things that he hasn't you know that he hasn't had an interest before working in the farm.
mhm.
So it's but yeah, but with the whole situation with Gardar being involved and Canute being on his way, it's gonna they're really gonna have to deal with like two major threats at the same time.
It's also going to be interesting because I feel like it's going to really like test Thorfinn as to him not wanting to kill people or not really commit any kind of violence. That he's going to have to choose what he wants to do. Like, is he going to like I mean is he going to choose like just to be a complete pacifist, or is he going to fight if he has to? Um, and it's real. I feel like he's going to have to like, he's going to have that dilemma because of what's going to
Yeah,
happen. Uh,
I think he may use his abilities mainly for self defense.
yeah,
I don't think he. I think if Gardar is going to take the initiative to attack anyone, specifically Thorfinn, I think Thorfinn just mainly going to defend himself and try to incapacitate uh, Gardar, without having to kill him. I guess in a way it won't violate his vow to kill a person.
yeah, yeah. I think you're probably right about that. But yeah. So I guess that all being said, guys, until next week, we will see you all next time.